Good evening, everyone. Today is March the 2nd, 2021. Most gracious and Heavenly Father, we thank you, God, for allowing us to see yet another day. We thank you, God, for life. We thank you, God, for health, strength, oh God. I ask you, God, that you will be with those that are going through at this time. We ask you, God, that you will provide healing, that you will provide comfort. And, oh God, I ask you, God, that I spend a special prayer out tonight, oh God, on behalf of the homeless, oh God, and the addicts, oh God. I ask you, God, that you will protect them, keep them covered with your precious blood. In the mighty name of Jesus, oh God, I thank you, God, for the show. I thank you, God, for the views. And, oh God, I ask you, God, that you will bless our conversation and let us walk away with food for thought. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. Greetings, everyone. I'm sorry for the late start. Going to be doing, as usual, I want to give a special shout out to all the birthdays over the weekend, everybody that celebrated a born day over the weekend. Congratulations to you guys. Anniversaries as well. We haven't been doing anniversary shout outs, but I want to give an anniversary shout out to all those couples that's enjoying that, that marital bliss and enjoying yourselves and enjoying one another and growing in this life together. Congratulations to you guys. I want to salute you all. I was planning on doing a solo show tonight. I may have a guest popping up on me. Shout out to my brother Ed. I just finished checking out his a show that he was on earlier on Instagram. That's why I was late getting over here. I wanted to make sure I supported my brother. Shout out to Ed. Good job, Dr. Wilson. Great talk, great information that was given out on there. I kind of wanted to talk tonight about things going forward. I know we just finished celebrating Black History Month, but I'm not quite done with Black History Month yet. I've been just feeling the urge to kind of push that and learning our history. So I'm gonna get into a little bit of that tonight. Also, I want to give a shout out to my brother Mitchell Blue. Shout out to, I won't name on the other names, but all my people, all my support group, man. I've been getting some good calls, some good texts over the weekend, telling me to stay focused, stay encouraged, keep on doing this. It doesn't go without being noticed. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the love, all the support. I want to thank you guys, each and every one of you, from the bottom of my heart. I truly do appreciate it. I want to thank all the viewers again for, you guys don't have to be here. You could be anywhere else. But I thank you for tuning in and spending this hour with me and with one another, and just helping each other grow and feel good within that hour. So getting different types of information out there. Let's see. Trying to think of where I wanted to start in particular. I've been jotting down different random thoughts all day that I kind of wanted to touch on. Going forward, though, I know we talked about before in the past going to the YouTube format. I'm still working on that there, and I plan on being able. I'm sorry about that. I plan on going to the YouTube before the first year anniversary. Our anniversary will be June the 2nd, I do believe, either June 2nd or June the 9th. So I will be transferring over to the YouTube format. By then, I should have everything up and running. And what I'll do is that way we'll be able to watch it on either platform. You'll be able to stream live from YouTube, or you'll be able to come to the Facebook page. But I want to be able to reach more guests and audience. So that's what I'll be doing. So, get ready to subscribe. When I get the channel up and running, I'll send information out. Please get all your friends and family members and everybody, as well as yourself, and subscribe to the channel so I could, we can get those numbers up and those viewers up. And I thank you in advance for that. All right, so like I said, I wanted to do this format. I've been feeling it, and I didn't really discuss it with anybody. I just kind of wanted to put it out there. But I felt led So going forward, what we're gonna be doing is on the first episode of each month, we're gonna be doing like a Q&A section. If you guys have questions for one another as viewers, you could always put them in the comments as usual. If you have any questions for me, you can put them in the comments as well. If you guys have any, um, if you guys have any suggestions for upcoming shows and things of that nature, put them in there. I want that the first show, the first episode of each month to be dedicated to just us. We're not in a studio. We're in our living rooms, but we could all still be a part of it, nonetheless, in our own way. So get your questions out there on Facebook and everything else, and we'll go from there. And we, pretty much like I said, we'll go over questions. Anybody have any questions for me? It could be random or whatever the case may be. We'll do that. Talk about what's going on that particular week or whatever it is that you guys want to talk about that day. Something might have happened that day in the news that the guys want to discuss, or that's on everybody's heart or mind. So we could discuss that. We're gonna kind of use that first episode of each month for you, the viewers, and you guys are going to control the way that particular show go. It won't be any particular topic or anything of that nature there. It'll just be us. It'll be us loving on one another and helping each other grow and getting information out there for one another. I'm definitely going to be doing. No problem, Mary God. Thank you for tuning in. They I'm sorry, I was that? Oh, we're going to be doing the Q&A sessions, so I want to be doing that. I definitely want to get an episode in coming real soon where I just got to get the people together. We're going to be doing an episode where we're going to put all the black businesses out there. All you guys that have businesses, your family has businesses that you want to promote, get with me because I want to blow that episode up. I want us all to support one another, whether it be online, whether it be physical, whatever the case may be. But let's help each other grow our own businesses. We talk about, making dollars and making successful, but when we get those things, you when we get our businesses and stuff, we quick to still. If I got a mom and pop store, I try to get on my own farm. We still quick to run the Harris Teeter or so. Let's support one another. And with that being said, too, your business owners, make sure that you're giving quality service. We talked about that on the show with like Eastern Web. Shout out to Live. You know, let's be professional, people. You know what I mean? Let's support one another. Let's encourage one another, help each other businesses grow, but at the same time, let's be professional about it. Don't let's have that ghetto mentality where you doing me a favor because you opened up a store, whatever the case. Nah, let's be professional and treat our clientele the same way we want to be treated as customers. So let's be mindful of that. Um, with that being said, Ed, I don't know if you're still watching. I see you in the comments. But if you want to come on, I just sent you the link. Dr. Wilson. All right, so one of the things that I wanted to get into was let me see what some of these notes say. All right, I wrote down I wanted to discuss the importance of learning our history. Like I said, we celebrated Black History Month last month, the month of February, and each day I was trying to do a different character in Black history, personal people that meant stuff to me over the years, whatever the case may be, that are part of our history. That and it was real profound. I really enjoyed doing it, and I just really felt led to keep that kind of going, not necessarily on a daily basis, but don't necessarily wait just to February to get this here. And I know a lot of people, we don't like to talk about or deal with those tough, difficult situations. But one of the things that I've learned in the course of life is just because you don't talk about it doesn't mean that it goes away either. You know, we just because you don't learn a history doesn't mean that it still didn't exist. And I think we owe it to our forefathers, our ancestors, to kind of understand the struggles and some of the different things that they went through for us to be able to live the lives that we're living today. So I think that that should be real important to us. And I think it should be real important that we stress this. Not only do we learn about our history and our culture, what it is that we came from and where it is that we're trying to go, but also learning and instilling that into our children for the next generation, making sure that they understand where it is that they come from. And that's not pertaining just to race. That's pertaining to everyone. Even white viewers. I have a few white friends, I have a few white viewers that view the show. It's important for us to teach them the importance of our previous history and the racism that exists in this country, because the future they're going to be the ones to eradicate this problem. You know what I mean? So it's important for all of us to do our part in passing on that knowledge and that information to the next generation. It was kind of surprising to me when you know, I haven't. It baffled me when Judas and the Black Messiah came out. How many people, especially older people, that I heard say they had never heard of Fred Hampton before or the story whatsoever. And I found that kind of mind-boggling, because it's like, I think I learned about Fred Hampton maybe in high school. And I remember one day having a conversation with my mom, and she was asking me, "Well, how did you learn all of this stuff and things of that nature?" Well, back in the day, before I really got into sports, which is kind of ironic to me now because I actually hate to read. I don't get joy out of reading. Let's put it like that. That's not one of my favorite things to do. Um, but as a youngster, when I was able to start catching the bus and stuff by myself, a lot of times just to get out the house or to go on my own little world, to be alone, I would go down to Washington Street to the Newark Library, and I would just read different articles, the questions I might have had. Why did America hate uh, Malcolm X so much, and was drawn to Martin Luther King? And little questions like that I had within myself what was sparking interest. So when I would go to the library, I would try to look for different articles back during that time. Back then, I forgot what they called it, but they had the little projector thing where you could read old newspaper articles and all that kind of stuff. They had a lot of that stuff on file, and I just educated myself on that stuff that was dear to my heart or struck a curiosity to me. And one of the things that I've learned growing up in church and even as an adult is, a lot of people, man, they not going. I'm trying to think of how to say. Well, let me put it like this: everything isn't for everybody. You know what I mean? Everything is not for everybody. I understand that. You might see people going down. You might, when it comes to the pastors and stuff. I remember once upon a time, the black church historically was like the backbone of black culture, so to speak, even back in the slavery days, because that was the one particular time that they could get together, didn't have to be judged, they could be free, they could speak freely amongst themselves without, without the lack of persecution. And nowadays, we see people when it comes to the police brutality and stuff, and you see stuff like pastors saying, "That's not my fight," or you have some pastors that's all they concerned about is social issues and not necessarily your spiritual well-being, in my opinion. So, with that being said, it's like I understand that everything isn't going to be for everybody, but at the same time, we do owe ourselves and I owe ourselves and our the next generation to come a responsibility of getting the information out there for them that pertains to them and pertains to us historically. And I definitely want to be doing a show about that. I want to get some pastors on here. I want to do a show on that about the decline in the black church as far as society. It's like, like I said, once upon a time, that's what the movement started from the black church. And that was the only place that they could have meetings and whatnot, so to speak. So I want to definitely want to get in that to layers. But with that being said, I want to introduce my brother. He just popped up on me, Dr. Wilson. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother Ed.
Up, bro?
We go all the way back to the days. How you doing tonight, bro?
I'm all right, man. How you making out? How you making
Hanging in
out?
there, man. Hanging in there, man. I got a chance to tell. I shared it on my page earlier when you posted it on your Facebook page. You know, trying to get people to go out there and check you out, man. I really enjoyed the
Thank you,
conversation
man.
with
I
you
appreciate
and
it.
the young lady, man. That was profound, man. And that's what we need more of, bro. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You know me, man. We've been friends
Absolutely.
a long time. I
Yeah,
love being a
go back
knucklehead.
like go back go back like Cadillac seats.
You already know, bro. And it's like, you know me, I never had a problem with being a knucklehead. I always like to be the laugh of the party and all that did. But, you know, we're not kids anymore. And every once in a while, you know, we got to be serious. You know what I mean? And to
Yeah,
whom much is given, much is required. So I'm real proud of you in the talk that you was talking, because it's important
thank you.
that now that we are the Mr. Potts, you know what I mean? You the principal.
Tell me about it.
You know what I
Tell
mean? The
me
same
about
way we
it.
looked up to Mr. Potts and respected him, now is a whole other generation that's looking at you in the same light, whether you realize it or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's important for us
Um,
to get that information out there to them, because we have a listening ear. And if we don't do
yeah,
nothing with it and they continue to fail, then it's nobody's fault but our own.
absolutely, absolutely.
Huh?
First and foremost, I want to, congratulate you on, your YouTube and well, what you're trying to move towards as far as the YouTube channel and everything. Just let me know, and I'll definitely subscribe and support you in that regard. But
Appreciate it, bro.
also, just staying determined. I know you had a couple of setbacks and whatever, what have you, but I think that's life. Just to kind of go back to what I alluded to in the other conversation with Sister Tia, life is not always a straight line. You're gonna zig, you're gonna zag, you're gonna go up, down, left, right, but you gotta stay the course. So congratulations to you in what you're doing, and I just hope that it continues, to grow.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it, man. And it's like, man, one thing about it is, if it don't work, it won't be because I quit. I can promise you that. And I promise the viewers
Right.
that as well. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be where it fell because I quit. That's not quitting. It's not even an option for me, because
Absolutely.
I accept the responsibility um that God has given me. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I tell people all the time, and you know, I've always felt like this, and it's not being, to me, it's not being arrogant or conceited, but I've always felt like I've been a celebrity all my life. It's just that the
Hmm.
whole world don't know me yet. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't take it lightly, the people that God has actually put me in a life that I can have a positive effect on. You know what I mean? That I can be there for. That I can share some of my failures and some of my ups, some of my highs and lows, and be transparent with the people. That way they can help them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like you say,
Right.
man, life ain't all wins, bro. Nobody
No,
bats a
it really
thousand.
isn't. No,
Nobody shoots
it really isn't.
100%
No,
in no
hell
sport.
no, no. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cuss on
Nah,
your
nah, you
show,
good,
but
you good, you good. It's
I
like, you know,
curse like
it
a
just doesn't
sailor.
happen.
So
That's a fairy tale right there. So,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
if I could use things that's I've been through that was hard for me, or whatever the case may be, to help somebody else get through where they need to be, man, then to God
mhm.
be the glory, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because God
absolutely.
has no respect to person, and I think that's a big part of it. We all got to share our stories. You know what I mean? A lot of times, you know,
Mhm.
especially in the church world, one thing that I always stress is, you know, a lot of people, we thank God for delivering us, right? But then we don't want to talk about what God delivered us from.
Yeah. Um, I think that's an interesting dynamic within the church. I dare not or profess to claim to be guru as far as the church is concerned or
Mhm.
anything like that, because certainly I am no stretch of imagination, nowhere near that. But I think that's an interesting dynamic for a couple of reasons. One being that once people do become quote delivered, they
Mhm.
forget what it was to have been in that situation where they were prior to.
Absolutely.
So you cannot elevate yourself to the point to where, oh, you are here now, and forget what it was like, or criticize, or try to denigrate other folks who are still trying to come through their whatever they're going through. So
Mhm.
I think that to me is the biggest. I think that's one of the biggest challenges in the church that I see, that I think that also detracts a lot of people from wanting to be a part or affiliate with churches, to
Mhm.
be honest with you.
Yeah. And it's like, I've said it on previous shows last year, a lot of these women, these sanctified Holy Ghost filled women, they need to pull some of these little young girls, these what they call fast girls, pull them to the side and say, listen, hey, before you seen this Bible told her, I was a hoe too. You know what I'm saying? Some of these brothers, we need to go talk to some of these young kids like, bruh, I understand it's your life to live, but I can tell you, hey, that kingpin life, that ain't it. Because you're not ready.
Look, it's not it. Life, that child support life.
Preach on it, bro.
Look, for some cats in that clinic life.
It's a whole bunch, bro. But it's our responsibility.
I don't want no parts of that. Oh my God.
It was funny because when I was watching you on the show with Sister Tia, man, it was funny because I swear I was thinking, like, I can remember when we would have the school assemblies there at Westside, and it didn't matter who it was. They were getting booed, like amateur night at the Apollo. Like, and it was like, we booed everybody. It didn't matter how positive it was. It didn't matter how famous they was. They was automatically getting booed. And as I was listening to you guys talking to what, the subject matter, I was saying, man, I would really love the opportunity to go back to Westside and speak and get booed.
You know what? But I think, Westside, and, shouts to Principal Cook, Brother Akbar.
Yes, sir.
I met him a couple of times. I think the first time I met him, I went up and introduced myself and told him that, obviously I went to Westside, I'm an alumni at Westside, and, working in education, I know what it is to be a principal, and to have a challenging environment where you have so many issues at play there
to overcome.
The work of being a principal is no joke. So Brother Cook is really he's really doing it. I don't know what the achievement scores are like or anything like that. Well, obviously now we're in the pandemic, so there's no testing, at least for the, it hasn't been for the last year. But he did an outstanding job with cleaning the school up as far as like making it more supportive and nurturing for students to learn. So now, matter of fact, I think he has a book coming out, so make sure I purchase that to support him, because he's doing outstanding work. But I say all that to say, like, I'm still here in Jersey, so I get a chance to swing through the old way ever so often. And when I say it looks like night and day, remember where Maddie's used to be right there on the corner of 12th Street and South Orange Avenue?
Yeah.
Where Marco Bowie used to live? That's not there anymore. All those houses back there on 12th Street, gone.
Completely gutted, like that whole side.
All of it is gone. I think they're supposed to be making like some kind of soccer field or something like. No, I'm sorry. They built. Remember those apartment buildings that used to be right across the street from the school?
Mm-hmm.
That's a soccer field now. That's a soccer field where the old Maddie's was on 12th Street, going back towards like where the cemetery, like in that direction.
Okay.
All that's gone. I forget what they're going to put there, but all that stuff is gone. It's been gone for a minute.
So by the backside where the gate used to be at, in the backside of the parking lot.
Yep. Yep. All those houses. Remember, it used to be a whole bunch of houses.
Yeah, that whole side was full of houses.
On both sides.
Until you got to the cemetery. Yeah.
On both sides, all the houses are gone. That little strip mall that was right there where you guys catch 31. It's still there, but it's all like boarded up and gated.
Hold up. So you saying on 12th Street, both sides of all the houses are gone, or just the side with the west side, close to the west side?
Just about. Well, the side by west side is all gone.
Okay.
Across the street, majority of all those are gone. I haven't been over there in a little bit, but majority of them are gone. And remember when you guys used to catch the 31 bus right there on South Orange Avenue, across from Cozy Corners, that strip mall. Remember when they first built it?
Yeah, it had the pizza spot in there and everything else.
Yeah, it's crazy to me because I remember when they first built it, and now it's like that whole little strip mall is gated and closed and boarded up.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks totally different around there. I mean, it looks the same, but it's not the same.
Word.
Put it like this: St. Rocco's is gone.
Not St. Rocco's.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The building is
that used to
still
be
there.
Meteor Market spot.
Yeah, the building is still there, like the school, but that playground where we used to play basketball, because that's where we,
Yeah,
that's where we play basketball. Gone,
man.
gone.
And there's no
If you
talk
can
about what they
imagine that.
plan on doing or whatever the case may be.
I know they have plans. I just don't know. I'm not up on Newark politics like that, but I know that they're going to do something. Like I said, I go, I swing through there every so often. I'll come up South Orange Avenue just to kind of see, what's what. Some parts still look like Beirut, but what you going to do?
Yeah. Shout out to Alex said what's up.
Somebody
Jennifer
said, what's
said what's
going
up.
on? Who
Jenny, two West Side Rough Riders, Big Al.
was it? Alex and who?
Jennifer Slaughter, Brian,
Okay,
and Tiny's sister.
Okay, yeah. Tom said, peace.
Yeah. So tonight, man, I didn't have any topic in particular that I wanted to talk about. Well, I had certain things I wanted to be all over the place, but you could tackle some of them with me if you want to, or you could just bow out if you want.
No,
but I'll
stay on for a little bit. What you got?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about the importance of learning, and not only just learning, but also getting that information and make sure we pass it on. Like our history, it to me is important. And one of the things that I was saying as you was coming on is one of the things that I used to do. Like my mom had asked me, she was like, my mom was like, my mom. My mom was straight church 24/7. Right? So you need a prayer request. Contact Gwen Bennett, yo. She got more speed than she gonna get a word in for you. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Where it was me, I was a little bit more militant growing there in Newark. And then hearing about the different, the background in Newark and things that happen and learning about all the black people and black culture. So a lot of times before I got into football and basketball, a lot of times what I would do is like I said, I would catch the 31 down to Washington Street and go to the library. And just read the different newspaper articles on, like I said, why was Malcolm X so hated versus why was Martin Luther King so beloved, and started doing my own research, the little question that I had, and that's where it started. So, I would encourage people, somebody asked me, well, how can I do this? That's one way to do it, educating yourself. Another way that I think that is real popular is biopics. Watch as many biopics as you can. But one of the things that everybody always hear me talk about Bishop and how much he meant to me, one thing that he always taught me when I first began to study spirituality, spiritual stuff. He said, I want you to remember something, nephew. He said, whatever you read, whatever book it is that you read, no matter what it's about, remember that's that author's point of view.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? And I think with a lot of times when we watch biopic these days, especially our generation, we like, man, well, I seen it in the Biggie movie. It's a movie. Some of the stuff is factual, some of it's not. So it's important that once you read that movie, you know what I mean? Once you watch that movie, to go back and do your homework and do your own research. And that was one of the things that I loved about Bishop, because he instilled that in us. He preached on Sunday morning, and it was a good word, but he would tell you, while you sitting here, take notes, because when you get home, I want you to go home and read it again for yourself and let it minister to you in your own way.
But see, I think something like that, or people like that, you have to respect, because they're pushing you to go beyond what they give. And I think, to your point with the biopics and and all that stuff, you got to be mindful of who the writers are, and if they are doing, what kind of research they're doing. So, for example, case in point, if you take the Judas and the Messiah, about the Fred Hampton movie. I was reading a couple of things from the writers who just so happened to be from Newark. They did a lot of research, and a lot of the stuff that they uncovered, they hadn't known, but they were able to tell a creative story, or Fred Hampton, as far as like what occurred and things like that, because you have some of those folks are still alive, but a lot of them are still gone. But his wife and son are still alive.
Yeah.
Fred Hampton. So
matter of fact, I want to say I seen the first time I ever seen his son in person was at the Million Man March back in '95.
Right. Yeah. So which I think is an interesting perspective, because she was right there with him at the time of the shooting, and with child. So I think that's a very interesting perspective.
Yeah,
But I think that, as you mentioned, how do you start to research and learn? Yeah, you go to the library, and we're in the age now where we have access to so much at our fingertips, that it's so accessible right now that it's not even funny. But you also have to be mindful of the source, like you mentioned.
yeah. You have to be careful.
You have to consider the source, because just because someone slaps doctor behind their name and write a book doesn't mean that it's always the correct
Absolutely.
and I'll be the first person to say it. Even take whatever, it ain't got nothing to do with me. This me as a person, like, if I'm writing something for me, I'm going to fact check everything that I do. I mean, I was a history teacher, so I studied history. So a lot of that stuff I knew, because I had to study it. So now I remember saying to my students when I was in the classroom, I used to always stress to them, you have to always appreciate what's around you in terms of history, because history is the one thing that you can always go back and fact check and find exactly, to a degree, what happened, depending on what you're looking for. Now, obviously, we talk about the Egyptians and all that stuff. That stuff gets debatable, but there's even with that, there's some concrete information in terms of research that supports, just origins and the species and what they look like and things of that nature. And that even goes equally to religion as well, too. I mean, that's why you got like over 100 versions of the Bible.
Yeah, absolutely. It might be well over that nowadays.
Yeah, probably more than that now.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And with that being said, man, it's like, I watched I don't know, I think it just came out last weekend, but if anybody that hasn't seen the United States versus Billie Holiday,
oh yeah, I'm gonna watch
watch
that this weekend. I heard it's good. I didn't want to watch it. Yeah, I wanted to see the Golden Globes. I mean, I wanted to see that. But I wanted to I want to check that out, because a lot of people don't realize that that song "Strange Fruit" has a lot of significance.
Yeah. And I'm glad you went there. You kind of segued to where I was going. Like I won't get a movie away, but they talk about like when it comes up, and that's the reason why I brought up what I did, because no disrespect to Lee Daniels or anybody those days, they did a great job. It's an excellent movie as far as I'm concerned. But if you do your fact checking, you see that it's a movie. It's not necessarily a biopic. Some of it's true, some of it's not true. Some of it's just movie. Some of the characters didn't even exist. So, like I said, you got to be mindful of when you watch these biopics to make sure you go back and do your homework to see what's real versus what's, nonfiction versus nonfiction. But one of the things that was true in the opening credits, it says, and I did look it up, in 1937, a bill to finally ban lynching of African Americans was considered by the Senate. It did not pass. This was in 1937. Now, one of the questions that I had, and it's kind of is rhetorical, but we could talk about it, me and you. One of the questions that I had was, like you said, strange fruit. For you all that's not familiar with it or know what the song is about, the song is literally about lynching.
Yeah.
The blood on the leaves, the fruit, the strange fruit. It's strange fruit down on the trees in the south parts of the United States. You see the bulging eyes, you see the crooked mouth, blood on the leaves, blood at the roots. It's a song about lynching. And one of the things that was factual about the movie was how the government was always coming after her, locking her up. Now, some of it was her fault, you know what I mean, because she was a drug user and everything else. But they handpicked her because of the singing that song. And from the words out of J. Edgar Hoover's mouth was, she don't need to be singing that song because it's un-American.
Right.
Well, now, this is the question that I have for you, Ed, before you go. All right. Yeah. You're going to say that a song cannot be sung because it's un-American. But yet and all, you don't condemn the heinous act that the song is written about in lynching.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think that's the irony of it, right? That it's it's not okay to sing about it, but it's okay to
Do it.
actually conduct it. You know what I mean? To carry it out, to execute it. It's the same thing of Kaepernick. It's not okay for him, or he's deemed unpatriotic because
Mm-hmm.
he took a knee with his fist raised, or I mean, initially, what did he do? He sat out. Sorry,
Yeah.
he sat out. Then he went to the knee. After speaking with some vets or some, military personnel,
Mm-hmm.
he was still deemed un-American or unpatriotic. But it's okay for quote nationalists to storm the Capitol with
Exactly.
Confederate flags in the what was supposed to have been one of the most secured buildings in the country. So there's an irony to that, and a lot of contradiction. And so I think if anybody with sense would say and agree, white, black, and different, would have to agree that there's a huge hypocrisy in that, because I think what needs to happen is that a lot of these folks that claim to be nationalists and all this other kind of stuff, I need to they really need to take a hard look at what that really means in terms of supporting a country or having love for a country. Because it's one thing to have love and support of a country, but it's another thing to take it into your own hands because you don't feel it's going the way that you think it should go, or you think that someone was quote robbed of an electoral process, presidential election, so on and so forth. Any other group, we already know, and that's the other irony about it, that there's been so much to occur over the years that the question of if they were black is always relevant because of the history. We're
Mm-hmm.
not making this up. It's not people saying this because we want to say it. No, it's the truth. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So there's an irony. There's a lot of hypocrisy with that.
And let's be clear. All those people that was in there, all those light-skinned folk that was up there in the Capitol, those are all federal crimes.
Oh yeah, federal crimes, and
They
yeah, I
were
mean,
federal crimes.
they got the one guy. I think he's vegan. He's not eating because he can't eat vegan.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't eat organic food.
His
I mean,
mom
like,
on
it's
CNN
hard.
trying to get him a special diet.
But you know what? The judge ordered him to to have access to the food that he
Yeah.
organic food, and that right there showed me that day after I read that, showed me that there's literally two Americas that exist in this country, and unfortunately, we do not belong to or are affiliated with the one of privilege. We're just
Mm-hmm.
not. And
Absolutely.
that's true. If I don't care what no one says, and I would debate that I would debate it to no end, because that right there really showed me and confirmed that there's two Americas in
And
this country.
not only are there two Americas, I said it on the show the very next week. For everybody that don't believe or they think that white privilege is this magical thing, that was picture video evidence that it really exists.
Perfect. You never lie, because white privilege is so real, and it's not funny. And I want to be kind of clear to your viewers and your listeners that it's not, no one's being racist or bashing anyone or anything like that. But the truth is the truth.
Absolutely.
You cannot sit here and tell me that if a black person, if Kaepernick was arrested, let's say they would have arrested him for his protest, and he's a professional athlete, so I'm sure he has whatever kind of diet he has. But let's just say, for argument's sake, that he only he only eats organic food. You really think that they're going to rule to make sure that please?
Not at all. Not at all. And it's funny because I've been battling. You saying that brings me to another question I've been dealing with myself, because me and I had my godbrother on last week, Dr. Danley, and we all you as well. We rep Newark to the fullest. We proud to be from Brick City. It's not a shameful thing. It's not an embarrassing thing, but we wear it as a badge of honor. But I can't lie. I think about maybe 2 weeks ago I started really feeling convicted. and doing my homework on Black history in America and everything else. And my problem was, as much as I love Newark, it's like, how can I be so? How can I put it? Like, how can I be so happy to be a part of something where all of these neighborhoods and all of this that we have was created on stolen land?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So it's like a conflict there.
Yeah, I think when you look at Newark itself, Newark has a varied history, just in terms of demographics and power structure. Because when you look at where I used to live on 12th Street and where West Side is, like that area, years ago, it used to be the reverse. That used to be heavily Italian.
Yeah.
In Newark, and now it's the reverse in terms of once you go past the what's that, Penn Station, Perry Street? Ferry Street. Once you get past there, you see a whole nother world, a whole nother dimension. But Newark, at one point, much like East Orange, they had a lot of folks that didn't look like us.
Yeah.
In those areas.
A lot of people don't realize that the great Jerry Lewis, the comedian Jerry Lewis, graduated from Newark High School. Graduated from Weequahic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and even when Dr. King came to Shabazz in 1964, a lot of people don't realize that.
I didn't know that.
He came in 1964. If you look it up, 1964, he visited Shabazz High School at the time. It was called Southside. Because I think that, I don't know if it was the same year, but I know he had also visited Montclair High School as well too. So I think it might have been all along the same tour. Matter of fact, why am I guessing? I have it right here.
Yeah, and that's good, man. Yeah, we had an Italian bakery on the corner of 8th Street. Yeah, that's where my cousins. Yeah, like it definitely has changed over the years, man. It's like another like, while we talking about that, because like I said, Newark has been on the decline. Well, one of the things, and it was nobody's favorite movie, but I used to love what was it? Media Man. Remember it was a scene of Media Man. It wasn't a great movie, but it was a scene of Media Man where they started trying to grow their own fruit and trying to build the community back up. And it was like, I would love to see something like that in Newark. Like, where we're not trying to get out of it, but we're actually fixing the community within that, where we're within.
Right.
You know what I mean? And holding one another accountable for keeping it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's so King came in 1968 to Montclair High School. In 1964, I'm almost certain 1964 that he visited Shabazz High School.
Wow, that's amazing.
Which at the time was called Southside.
Okay. And another thing that I wanted to get on too, man, and it's sad because I forgot the young man's name, but I don't even want to honor him by calling his name. But the young white guy from that shot the church down there in South Carolina.
I know what you're talking about.
I think about him. I think about George Zimmerman.
Yeah.
I think about all these others, right? They go on, they get to do these crimes, they get to murder people and go on and live their lives, right? But Tupac Shakur, taken away from us at 25. Biggie, 24. Martin Luther King.
Well, remember
39.
Well, remember when we went to Hawaii and we went to the club.
We seen Pop. Yeah. I tell people all the time, man, listen, Biggie had a song called Story to Tell, but I actually got to meet both of them within the same year of them passing away.
Oh, that's dope.
I got to shake hands with Biggie at this club called The Garage down there in Atlanta. He was on the show with at the time, some local group was coming out at the time, wound up being Goody Mob. I remember them. It was Goody Mob, wasn't even out yet. Shaheem was opening up for him, and Big came out and did his thing. And then, like you said, we got to see Tupac over there in Hawaii on Wheeler Air Force Base, man. Shout out to Rich, man. Rest in peace, Rich, man. Mr. Big Bro.
Yeah.
But it was just like you say, man. It was something. And let's be clear. Like me and my friends, we go back and forth on this all the time. I wasn't necessarily a Tupac fan musically. Like I'm not saying he was garbage or anything like that. I just didn't never consider myself a fan. You know what I mean?
Right.
But what I will say is the dude was. People got their different belief systems. I don't care whether you're Christian or not. I tell you, some people are literally are touched by God, and he was one of those ones. Because, like you said, the aura, him just walking up, getting out the car, bruh, the attention that he commanded, bruh. You feel what I'm saying? Like that ain't everybody. That's not fame. That's not being a celebrity. That's God given. Either you got it or you don't. Like everybody don't have that. But it was just like his aura was like you wanted to see. All right, what is the dude gonna do next? Like,
right.
And it's like, you know, I always talking about that responsibility.
We saw what he was doing then.
No, yeah, we definitely seen this what he was capable of. That was a funny.
Oh my God, that was a good time, man.
Man, when I tell people about that whole event that you talking about, like in private settings, they be like, nah, man, I'm like, tell you, man, look, he really did it, bro.
No, he
really did it.
You had to see it. Wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it myself. Just sitting there. Anyway, so
yeah, man.
On that note, I'm gonna call it a wrap, bro. Because we gonna have to chop it up more formal. You know, when you have your scheduled talks and targeted conversations and everything.
Yeah. No doubt, man. Like I said, I seen you was already in that vein, and the talk was good. That's why I said, man, if you got time, just come on over for a minute. Chop it up with me, man. Man, I appreciate it, man.
Please tell your mother I said hello. Tell her I
definitely. Likewise too, man. Tell Mama Eve I said I love her. All right. I gotta get up there, man. When I get up there, man, we definitely gotta link up, bro.
Yeah, just holler at me, man. Just let me know.
All right, man. Stay up, bro. I love you, man.
All right, love you too, man. Peace.
All right, peace. Yeah, man. Shout out to my boy Ed. Thanks for stopping by, man. You know, but it's funny to me how, like I was saying, and I'm not even, when I say taken away from us, I don't mean that Biggie, I'm not saying that Biggie and Pac was a part of no great movement and all that kind of stuff there. But like I said, even with Martin Luther King was 39 when he was taken from us, when he was assassinated. Malcolm X was 39 when he was assassinated. And it's like, anytime, and don't get me wrong, I'm glad Ed said what he said, because this show, or me speaking from my heart about these matters, this is not me trying to instigate anything. This is not promoting racism. There's not support. I'm not trying to expose anything. I'm not trying to change anybody's views or open anybody's eyes, anything of that nature there. But these things need to be discussed. Like I said, when I opened the show up, just because we don't talk about them, don't mean that they don't exist. And these are real things. But it bothers me as an African-American man in the United States that when I see people that were trying to better our people, the Black Panthers, Huey P. Newton and them do the Breakfast Club, you know, whatever, not the Breakfast Club, but the Breakfast Program, you know, all these different things, man. It's like anytime a Black man try to speak up for himself or try to help us to become self-aware and motivate ourselves to do better, it's like we public enemy number one. We a threat. We can't have that. Whereas these whites, they can say whatever they want to and do it. They prove that they can storm the Capitol if they so choose, which I think is totally unfair. It's like the only one I think of that they didn't really take from us was Stokely Carmichael, you know, who later changed his name to Kwame Ture. But that's only because he left the country. You know, he moved to Africa. So what is it about, you know, the educated Black man that society sees as so threatening? Why is it that we can't just voice our opinion, man? I understand that. And with that being said, I kind of want to segue to another thing that's been bothering me is, you know, when whites, I know people that lost lives and OD'd and everything else off of off of drugs, whether it be opioids, whether it be cocaine, whether it be crack, whatever the case may be. All these people have died, but it's funny to me and it baffles me that when it comes to the black community and the celebrity, so to speak, the Billie Holidays and the people that died, they want to say they died of drug overdose. It's like, to me, they always want to portray their characters as being demonized, like they were just these big old drug addicts. But Janis Joplin, she OD'd. Marilyn Monroe, she died of an overdose. Anna Nicole Smith, Marilyn Monroe reincarnated, she overdosed. We got, it's like it's just funny to me how when it comes to, once again, that two different Americas. Judy Garland, one of the great actors, she died of an overdose. It's like when it comes to the blacks, oh, they were addicts. But when it comes to white society, it's an epidemic. How is that? How is it when it comes to us as criminal acts and we drug addicts, but when it comes to white people, they just need help. It becomes about getting help. And to me, that's we have to find a way to change that narrative some kind of way. That, to me, that's not right. That's not right on no level. An addict is an addict, and that's why I opened up in the prayer talking about that, because one of the things me and my cousins we share all the time is, God has really given me a special place in my heart for addicts. Me myself, I was an addict for years of marijuana. I was an addict of alcohol. I was an addict of sex. I was an addict of, I had different addictions in my life, and so I know what it's like to be bound by something. I know what it's like to be held captive by something greater than you, something that's stronger than you. So I have a special place in my heart, and I always intercede and I always pray for addicts, because everybody that's an addict is not out there because they want to be. They have a problem that is stronger than them, it's greater than them, and everybody can't always find their way out. And I thank God each and every day that He allows me to do that. That I thank Him every day that He delivered me and He brought me out. But there are people that's still out there, and one of the things that I know firsthand, because I know addicts, is that if you was to do a survey, most of the time, whoever is an addict, they're probably the most giving, loving person that you know. Off the drug, they're the most giving, loving person that you know. They're more loving, they're more giving, they're more caring than anybody that's just a stand-up person that works a 9 to 5 and everything else. I've never seen so much love, but yet and all, these are the same people that we like to throw away, So, as I get ready to close out, I want y'all to, in y'all personal time, man, spend time praying for those addicts, man, because it's like, it's easy to say it's a choice, and I'm one of those people, like, life is all about choices, but some choices are harder than other choices, and sometimes when you're dealing with things that's greater than you, man, you need something greater than you to help you get out. So sometimes it might be love and loving the family. You might have to lock everything up when they come around, but whatever it is, let them know that they are still loved. Let them know that they still have a support system and that you're there for them. It's very important, man. It bothers me. I've never been a big fan of the military, even though I love what the military has done for a lot of my family, a lot of my friends. Presented great opportunities for them to make a living for their family and stuff. But it bothers me that you can enlist in the military and you put your life on the line literally for this country, but yet in all, the homeless population, the highest percentage of the homeless population is veterans. How is it that you can put your life on the line for this country, but then come back over here and not have a place to stay? And I'm not saying that you got to have a house on the hill or anything like that but you should be able to be provided with a roof over your head, being that you put your life on the line for this country. I need the government to help me to make that make sense to me. I just don't understand it, man. So we got to do better, man. We got to do better in our own little way, man. Every little part that we could do, man. It doesn't cost anything to pray for somebody. It doesn't cost anything to reach out to somebody. And thank you, Holy Spirit, while I'm there. Let's do better. I've been stressing it since the beginning of the show, but let's do better of reaching out to some people that we don't always talk to, that we don't always necessarily reach out to, but people that we might not seen in 20. I had a good conversation last night with a sister from church that I haven't seen in close to 30 years, probably longer than 30 years ago. And we had a good conversation last night, just talking about the good old days and what we meant to each other and what part we played in each other's lives and how it was good to be able to reconnect 30 years later and pick up a conversation like we ain't missed a beat from, last week. And I think that's real important, man. A lot of times we think about people and I wonder how such and such doing, man. It won't, I promise you, it won't cost you anything to pick up the phone or DM somebody or, hey, I was thinking about you. I just wanted to let you know that one time you sung whatever, it really blessed my soul. I remember the one time I seen this somebody try to beat you up in high school and you stood the ground, whatever the case may be. Just let them know that they care because a lot of times some of the people that we think are the strongest are the people that's going through the most. And we never know what somebody else is going through. But what I do know is, and what we do know is that depression is real, suicide is real, and it's a real thing. So don't depression is real. Don't take that lightly, yo. Don't somebody saying they're having a bad day. Oh, every time I turn around, they going through something. All right, well, they might every time they turn around going through something, they won't have to go through it as much as if you there to help them through it. You know what I mean? So let's be mindful of that, and let's be more of a support system for one another, and let the people in our lives know that we really, really, that we really got their back, and we really there for them, not just in our words, but also in our deeds. Y'all hear me say it all the time. I can show you better than I can tell you. Let's pick up that phone and reach out to somebody. You know what I mean? I agree 100%. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out why there is a Wounded Warrior Fund they should take care of. And absolutely, Jen. I need it to make sense to me too. I don't understand it. But we got to do better. We got to do better for our veterans. We got to do better for our communities. We got to do better for, our military, our veterans, and we got to do better for our elderly. I remember a day and time when, being a church boy, going into church, you see the dude, the corner boys out there, they smoke, drinking their 40s, whatever. But when they seen Sister Strawberry coming down the street with her hat on, hey man, put that up, man. Put that out, yo. You know what I'm saying? How you doing, mom? You need help carrying your bags to the door, whatever the case may be. Now, like we don't have that no more. We don't have that anymore. So we need to find a way to get back to our basics and support one another and building up our community. You know what I mean? We need to be some of those strong men on the block and stop just being so complacent. If everybody stays silent, then guess what? We're never going to get anywhere. It takes, whether you agree with them or not, it takes a Huey P. Newton. It took a Malcolm X. It took a Martin Luther King. It took a Marcus Garvey. It took a W.E. Du Bois. It took all these different figures because everybody isn't going to have the same point of view. Everybody isn't going to be after the same exact thing. But we all can agree that change is necessary. Change is necessary. So let's play our part, locally, within our own communities, within our own workplaces, within our own families, and trying to bring about the change that we want to see. I remember hearing somebody say one time, don't complain about something that you're not willing to be a part of the answer to. And that's a good point. Like, I mean, there's no need in complaining about, these lines are too long or they don't do this here and they don't do that. How about you do it? You know what I mean? Do whatever it is that you can do on your part, as opposed to just always taking the back seat and complaining about things and waiting for somebody else to do it. One of the things that my grandfather used to say that I never understood as a kid, but it makes all the sense in the world to me now as a man. He would always say, if you want to ease your hand, get somebody else to do it. But if you want to ease your heart, do it yourself. And it makes so much more sense because when you do it yourself, then you have that sense of reassurance that whether either it was done like you wanted it done or it wasn't done, but what was done. You know what I mean? And that's something that you don't have to worry about when you do it yourself. You always gonna be worried when you get somebody else to do something for you. So take the initiative to do all that we can do in our own vein and our own light, and just help each other grow and support one another, man. Um, and like I said, I'm gonna start, I'm gonna start putting the cash app out there for anybody that wanna support the show. I don't have any sponsors or anything like that there, but anybody that want to be a blessing to the show, I'll be taking the donations or whatever the case may be. The Bible says a closed mouth does not get fed. You have not because you ask not. And it's not something that's easy for me to do. I've never, even in church when I was preaching, I never like raising offers or things of that nature there. But somebody reminded me earlier this week and said, need to put that out there. You keep talking about it, but you never put the cash app out there. So I will start putting that out there on the pre-show announcement, and as well for the guests that's on the show tonight, that particular night. If somebody on the guest is a blessing to you and you want to sow into their life, you're more than welcome. I'll be putting those cash apps out there going forward. But I'm looking forward to switching over, not necessarily switching over, but getting that YouTube channel running by June, so we can do that there, so we can grow this show. And I'm gonna continue to lean on you guys and ask you for your support, ask you for your help, ask you for your prayers, your kind words, hey, listen, I got tough skin. I can take constructive criticism. I love that more than I love, you pat me on your back. So anything that you guys have as far as feedback, anything that you guys have for me, I'm open ears and I'm open to hearing anything you guys got to say. Like I said, this show it's just my name on it, but this show God gave me this to give to the people. So it's really our show. It's not my show, it's our show. So I wanted to be that. You guys let me know what ideas you want to have for future shows. Things that you guys might want to talk about, and then some of you guys might actually want to be on it. I know that some people, like a lot of people I wanted to be on, they kind of camera shy. They don't feel comfortable being in front of the camera. Now I respect that, but let's get out our own way sometime, because what it is that you have to say could really be a blessing and the answer to somebody else's prayer. Like, it may really help them get out of certain situations. So, keep that in mind. You might be shy and everything else, but keep that in mind that your story might really be a blessing and help somebody else through something that they're going through. You just never know. You never know, man. But with that being said, I'm gonna get on out of here, man. Know that I love you guys, and like I said, I got so many more other things that I got on here that's just random thoughts, but I'll save that for the next Q&A in April, for next month. And like I said, if we're going to be doing this on the first episode of each month, we're going to use that to talk about, whatever you guys want to talk about that happened over the weekend, or current affairs, things that's bothering you. We're just going to have a conversation amongst each other. And I'm looking forward to it. And with that being said, man, you guys love on each other. I thank all you guys really from the bottom of my heart. I want to say, I forgot what network it is, but they're doing something on Black. I want to say maybe ABC or something that I believe comes on tonight. It starts tonight, something about blackness on ABC at either 9 or 10 o'clock. So when you check out of this, go check that out. And like I say, man, let's just educate ourselves, be proud of who we are and where we come from, and be proud of the skin, man. Be proud of the skin that we live in. Because I wouldn't trade it in the world, man. We had one of the hardest fights as a black man, and we had the discussion before, the black man versus the white black woman, who struggles more. Hey, listen, we struggling together. But one thing I will say is I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. I consider it a badge of honor to be an African-American man in the United States, and I don't take it lightly. So let's keep on growing. Let's keep on educating ourselves, and let's keep on loving on one another. That being said, until next week, know that I love you all. Come back next week. And as usual, I'm signing off, DeAndre and Lisha. Know that Daddy loves you intentionally, but I also love you unconditionally. Peace.